How you doing? Hercules is without a doubt the best design champion in MCOC. Um, I don't really, to be honest, I don't enjoy making all my videos, but some videos I make because there's a reason for it. But this video I'm about to make, I do really enjoy making, and one of the reasons why I still play MCOC. I do believe Hercules is without a doubt the best design champion in MCOC. You could definitely make an argument for Mr. Sinister only if his signature ability is working, but it's not. And I also enjoy playing with Hercules more. I think just Hercules is just so fun to play with. And he's so good. Like, you don't have to be. The good thing about Hercules is, he does require skill to play, but you don't have to be the best player in the world to play him. That's why I think he's kind of like just the perfect design. He's not boring to play with, but at the same time, you don't have to be the best player in the world to play with Hercules, and he's just so good. Not like broken, but he's so good that it's almost like he's broken, like pushing the boundaries of what a broken champion looks like. You know, you could say that he's balanced, but you can't. No, he's not balanced. If you think he's balanced, then you don't know what you're talking about. Okay, I think there's a difference between balance and there's a middle ground between balance and broken. I call it OP. A lot of people make a mistake about the difference between OP and broken, but because balance is basically like well proportioned, equal proportion, if you want to say, you know. And Hercules, he's like OP or overtune. I would just, or you can even say above average champion, I believe. And then there's the broken category, which no champion in MCOC is, except a couple of champions with which I would say in rare occasions, I would say, but pretty much when it comes to Hercules, he's just so fun to play with, and I was gonna make up like four buff concepts to Hercules in a different video, and I didn't realize not without the most important buff concept that he could have, you know, like I didn't realize his biggest weakness, and until I went to 6.3.1 right here, I didn't realize his biggest weakness. So let's take a look at it. So when it comes to Hercules' biggest weakness, what kind of makes him sort of balanced is he doesn't inflict enough debuffs. Okay, so he doesn't inflict enough debuffs. So like when it comes to this track, he cannot do anything in this fight. You can spend a million revives and you're just not gonna be able to get through this Mr. Sinister unless you have Mr. Fantastic free fight, which if you play really well, you can solo this with Hercules with Mr. Fantastic free fight. So this track. So if you had something like Morbius ability where he inflicts bleed, it doesn't have to do any really damage. It's pretty much like similar to Morbius. When it comes to bleed, it's just gonna be like an extra utility for Hercules to have. He's gonna be able to do this track without a problem, I believe. And another thing that really kind of made me spend a lot of units as well as revives when it comes to the Medusa boss. As you can see here, do you bleed? The defender takes 100% less damage from any source except block attacks. Okay. And also buffet node, so he's not immune to nullify, so that really became a big issue fighting this fight with Hercules. So, but if he was able to inflict a bleed on the opponent, you know, he would be able to make solo this when it comes to Hercules, even as a 5-star. I don't even think it's gonna be super challenging with bleed vulnerability, increasing your attack plus 200%, plus 200%. So, that's really like the thing. If Hercules had ability like when it comes to his attack to inflict bleed on the opponent, similar to Morbius, you know, that would just be so like you can make an argument for him to be broken, especially with bleed vulnerability, increasing his damage by 200%. He's gonna be able to do this fight, I don't think, without a problem. And what else? There's nodes obviously like this track. That's a problem for Hercules, as well as what do you call that? There's nodes that you have to inflict bleed. If you're not inflicting bleed, the opponent takes 90% reduced damage. That's also a problem for Hercules. So that's kind of like makes him like somewhat balanced. Not, I wouldn't really call him imbalanced, but when it comes to Kabam, they like to say champion that is balanced, it's good. That is a complete lie. Name me a champion that is balanced, that's actually fun to play with, or people that play with. Like, I can't think of any. Like, what about Scorpion? If you think Scorpion is balanced, then I got a bridge to sell you. Okay? I do think when it comes to Angela, she is balanced outside of Incursion. Okay? Angela is there's only a couple of champions that are broken, but only in Incursion because of they have infinite ramp up with Odin synergy. Okay, and you'll see what I'm talking about in a little bit. Um, so outside of Incursion, Angela, I believe, is balanced. I also think Mr. Sinister is balanced without his signature ability. Currently, it's not working. So, yeah, I would say that if you want to call that balance, I guess. But besides that, I only really enjoy playing Angela in Incursions. And Mr. Sinister, I do kind of like playing, but I would love to see his signature ability, work. I would definitely play him a lot more for sure if his signature ability actually work. And I would make an argument he's the best designed champion over Hercules when it comes to Mr. Sinister. So let's take a look at this fight, and you could see why Hercules is obviously not broken. And so this is the Medusa boss I was talking about. Unfortunately, I was running out of memory, so I had to delete the rest of the clip. But this is me fighting Medusa boss 6.3.1. Do you bleed node? And if Hercules can inflict bleed on the opponent, I believe Hercules can solo this. But I spent 1,000 units, actually a little bit more, because I had to take off dexterity since he's not immune to nullify. With buffet node, there's no way just really to solo this, or actually, and not solo, but what do you call this? Be able to get through this fight, because Angela is Medusa is just gonna keep regenning. So I had to take off dexterity. So, but I spent 65 revives on this fight alone. That is just crazy, okay? So that is his biggest weakness. And if you're wondering why did I use Hercules when instead of some champion that can inflict bleed, because this series is about using only 5-star Hercules to complete Act 6. Can he do it? Yes, he can. The question is how many units or how many revives it's gonna take. So yeah, just this alone, I spent 65 revives on this fight alone, which is really crazy. I wouldn't recommend anybody to do that really, but it's just for me, trying to see, trying to do my test if Hercules is broken. Clear, obviously he's not. As you could see, I have no choice to waste revives on this fight because he cannot inflict bleed. So let's see, can we move fast forward the completion? Okay, come on Hercules, 1% left. There you go, finally. Okay, finally completed 6.3.1. I will be continuing the series when it comes to Act 6, completing only using Hercules, but this was just rough. Okay, and that's what makes him somewhat balanced, I think, because if he could inflict bleed on an opponent, he can arguably be broken when it comes to Hercules. So let's go, and let's go another fight. Why I think Hercules is so fun to play with. This is Act 6 Moro boss. I do believe he was nerfed already when it comes to this fight, but he's still not going to be easy for most people if you're not using the right champion for this fight. And I was able to solo it my first time with Hercules using a 5-star. As you can see here, Morto's PI is like 3 times higher than I have, and I was able to solo it my first time with Hercules. It's not my first time fighting Mortal, but I believe it's only my second time though. But um, it's my first time with Hercules, and I was able to solo it because look at all the things that I have to do to solo this fight. There's the skill involvement. I think that's what makes Hercules fun. Like I already mentioned earlier. If not, I'll say it again. Um, I think Hercules, does require skill, but you don't have to be the best player in the world to play him. That's what makes him fun to play, I believe. So there's a little bit of RNG involved here for sure, but you know what? We got it done. And that's what makes Hercules the best design champion in the game and what makes him so fun to play with. Like compared to Angela, let's compare it to like Angela first, okay? When it comes to Angela, I mean, for average players, even myself as an average player, there's nothing wrong using Angela. She's pretty like your standard 5-hit combo, and especially for beginners or casual players, there's nothing wrong using Angela. But for me, after a while, it does get boring using Angela because look at this. You just do standard 5-hit combo, what 10 hits, and the fight is over. It's like it just after a while it gets boring. I mean, I guess when it comes to incursion, it doesn't like never boring because you just be able to beat the hardest fight just using what your 10 hits on the combo meter, just standard 5-hit combo or beating your opponent in like what 9 seconds. I mean, it's just crazy, and be able to do big yellow numbers. But outside incursion, I don't know if I would enjoy playing Angela like this because she's just broken, man, when it comes to incursion. So same thing with Hela. When it comes to incursion, when you go far enough in incursion, it's just, it's cool. All as you can see in this fight, all I'm doing is holding a heavy attack. Okay, I mean, like I mentioned, incursion, this seems fun. Be able to solo the hardest bosses, just by holding heavy attack. But outside of incursion, I don't know if I would be enjoying playing with Hela, just doing the same thing, just holding heavy attack. So I want to emphasize in the earlier rounds of incursion, you do would want to require skill using Hela, but once you get really far in incursion with Heimdall and Odin synergy, all you do is hold heavy attack and you win the fight. She does also require skill outside, in like Necropolis or Abyss. So she could be fun to play if you want. If you really want to practice her, she does require a lot of skill outside of incursion when you go really far. So that's really pretty much it. I would say that's why I think when it comes to Hercules, I think he's the best design champion in MCOC. It's just so fun to play in my opinion, and he's so good, but not good enough to be. I mean, not broken. So that's my thoughts, anyways. Thank you.